So with that out of the way, we are going to get into today's theme, seeing as it was Phil's idea. Phil, would you like to present it today?
Yeah, okay, why not? We thought about arcade games in general, and then we decided that there was way too many, and we were looking at different lists of the best arcade games, and there was just throughout the time, there was no way we could whittle it down to a few. So we thought for today's episode, seeing as it's probably the prime time of most of our gaming lives of going to arcades, we would focus on iconic games through the 90s.
Time Crisis. All right, who wants to talk about this one?
I'll let you go first this time.
Me?
Yep,
Or Phil? Oh, Phil, okay. I was surprised there. Phil?
No, you're.
Oh, it is me. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, so Time Crisis was one of the original light gun shooters. And it was kind of interesting in that previous light gun shooters, I think Terminator 2 was older. There were other ones, obviously everyone knows Duck Hunt from the Nintendo. But, you shoot, when you reload, you have to shoot off screen. Area 51 was another big game at the time. But Time Crisis had this dynamic where there was a pedal on the ground, and if you press the pedal, then you duck and cover. And so there was this kind of idea that, you want to duck and cover, and then when the enemies, because you could tell that when they need to reload, and when they need to reload, that's when you pop up and shoot them. And so it kind of added a little bit of strategy to it beyond the previous games where it was just, shoot the guy as quickly as possible. And it had its own little story. It wasn't anything to write home about. It was just, the generic cheesy, I'm a cop and I'm saving the daughter of a president of some country or something. She's right there in the video. You can obviously see how well animated the characters are. I don't even think this guy's mouth moves when he talks. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And it actually was pretty accurate. Because I remember sometimes those games you're shooting and it's just not where you want it to be. This one was pretty good about that. So, what was your guys' experiences with it?
I really like this kind of games. And this is typically the kind of games which really doesn't handle being porting to a console well. This one, for instance, was on PlayStation 1. So imagine you are at the booth, you have your gun, maybe with a friend, and you shoot and you pedal and you duck. And imagine exactly the same with a pad. It doesn't work well. Like you have your little stuff moving to the screen. Poof. It's really hard to do on console, but as an arcade booth, I think it's a classic. You have to put at least one rail shooter on it, and this one for me was the classic you have to put on. With I think was House of the Dead the one you chose.
House of the Dead was the other choice that we had. That was another popular one at the time.
Yeah, so one of the two, but that was really, really cool. I really like the same kind of stuff. Like at the cinema next to me, they have this kind of thing with Jurassic Park. It's pretty cool as well. So this one is, go well through the ages as well. This time of gameplay, it's really well for arcade, not console. But at the arcade, before, after cinema, really nice.
And I think some of I don't think it was in the first one, but I think some of the other ones added different weapon varieties as well. So you could get shotguns and automatics and stuff like that, which would have limited ammo. Yeah. So you'd collect that gun and you could have maybe 5 shots with it or whatever. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. The PlayStation version, was really strange because you could play it with my friend had not this one, but he had a different game. But you could play it with your controller, but then you're just moving a little thing across the screen, or you could buy a light gun and then it would work with the light gun. But I don't remember what the
accurately.
Fair. It depended on the size of your screen.
Okay.
Because yeah, it was built for, I don't remember what the things were, but if you had, the bigger your screen was, the more accurate it seemed to be, and the smaller your screen was, the less accurate it would. So if you had a relatively big screen TV, you could do pretty well with it. Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I don't remember how they did the hiding mechanic. I don't remember if it was point the gun down or if there was a special button. I don't really remember. What about you, Phil? Did you enjoy these light gun shooters, or not really your thing?
I think I was trying to think of Time Crisis. I might have seen it out and about. House of the Dead I've played, and I knew House of the Dead because how old? Going through the late 90s sort of thing. So I was sort of like just getting to my teenage years sort of thing, into the mid. So something like a horror game, shooting horror game, which stands out a lot more, and you kind of pay attention to it more. Whereas maybe I'd probably seen Time Crisis. I probably just don't really remember it that much as something that would stick out. So yeah, again, like Anton said, you in an arcade, if you walk into an arcade, you're pretty much looking for a driving game, a beam up game, a shooty game, and a side-scrolling game sort of thing, and then maybe some classics, from 80s or things, is kind of what you'd expect in most arcades. So definitely deserves its place. And I bow to your guys' wisdom and fountain of knowledge on this being, I presume then this would be one of the earliest.
Yeah, this is probably one of the earliest. I think the earliest might have been the old Terminator one, but that was literally just like a screen and there were sprites walking around. It wasn't 3D at all. Growing up, we had Time Crisis, but I think in our area, Area 51 was the more popular game. Did you guys ever play that one? Okay, I don't have a video for that one, but obviously if you know the stories of Area 51 in the US where the Roswell UFO crashed, basically you play as some kind of soldier and aliens have broken free and they're running through the facility, so you just go down there and shoot a bunch of aliens. And and since they're aliens and not humans, they could get away with a lot of things that they couldn't in a regular game, like you hit them and they can explode, and gore comes out and they explode in a shower of guts and blood, but the blood's purple or green or something, so it's not an issue. So
I do remember the Terminator 2 game. Yeah, I remember the machine now. I'm looking at it. 1991 for the Terminator 2.
Okay. And this, let's see, Time Crisis was... Oh, I got it up here.
95, I think.
Yeah, 95. So yeah, the Terminator 2 game predated this one. But yeah. But that one was really just more like what you would have in a carnival where you had like the ducks moving past and you just, shooting the ducks as they pass by.
The machine guns like stuck onto the thingy, weren't they? You could only like...
Yeah, they were mounted.
Freedom of gun. Yeah.
Yeah.